Today I want to do another update video on Esmeralda, my Pearl Masters Mahogany MHX kit. And if anybody's been following my channel, you know this thing has taken probably a half dozen or more different forms. So I kind of want to show you what I got going on now. I do have it set up as a 7-piece with the 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 toms. 5.5-inch mahogany matching snare and the 18-inch bass drum. I used to use that as a gong. It's a bass drum again, and it's in a traditional spot for a bass drum. I don't have it over to the left with the double pedal, and I'll discuss that in a little bit why I made that decision. But still have a ported head on that, the 2 ports. I'm probably going to go full head with that graphic, and I've got 2 internal mics on there, which makes it really convenient. If you want to select from just the Sennheiser E902 dynamic mic or the Shure Beta 91A condenser mic, it's a boundary mic, or both of them. And live we use both of these, and boy, this drum just sounds amazing. They all do, but here's the setup hardware-wise. I've just got a small rack piece on this size. I brought it down from the large bar to a medium-sized bar, so that's holding 3 cymbals, actually 4 cymbals, because I've got this weird arm here that I just fold in for transport, and that's holding my my Pang cymbal and little China trash on top of that. I'm always trying to figure out how to improve things. It's kind of like, you know, the Wright brothers taking it out for a test flight and then making little adjustments. Well, I want to make this somewhat more compact and for easy travel, and just leaving those cymbal arms in there on that rack and on this rack. Yeah, there's 2 pieces to pick up. Now, the cable hi-hat, I always have to wrap that up, and I'm putting that now in a hard cymbal case. I'm just coiling that up, so I do have a case for that now. But this rack, again, I'm going to fold the arms down on it, mark everything for repeatability, unplug the drums, put the drums in the cases, and just put the racks together. And then I just need a small bag for the snare stand, my snare mic stand, and floor tom legs. So it's going to be pretty easy setup and tear down now. And again, it fits well within, you know, probably about a 4.5 by 6.5 footprint, a 7-piece kit. And cymbal wise, I'll go over that again, a 14-inch Zildjian A custom crash. And then I've got Rezos. I've got the 16-inch Rezo crash, 16-inch Rezo Pang, 14-inch Rezo hi-hats. So regular medium thin 16-inch crash. There's the 18-inch Rezo crash, 21-inch Rezo ride, and then that's the little China trash, and then the Oriental trash splash over here. And I've just got that on just a small cymbal arm just popping up between those 2 toms. Center hi-hat I've got mounted with one of the straight bars on a multi-angle Gibraltar clamp, and I've got the 12-inch tom coming right out of that tom leg, and the cymbal on the other one with again just another adapter for the small 8-inch tom. But I've got too much time on my hands and too many rack pieces to play with, but I really dig this setup. Now let's take a look from the other side. So here's the business end of things, and my view as I'm playing. You'll see I've moved the toms apart, and I've got the hi-hat really close to that snare, but I've got enough room in there for that snare mic. So it's, yeah, it'll pick up the hi-hat, of course it will, but it's right where I like it. And in doing fills across the kit, I'm easily able to jump that. That's not a problem at all. I mean, I might occasionally hit the hi-hats, but I pretty much, you know, I think about things. I pay attention when I do fills. I actually open my eyes then, but got the cymbals down at a pretty reasonable height. Don't really have to reach up. This one's a little bit higher because I've got a tambourine, and I'm going to have a cowbell mounted right below that, so they're all going to be on one stand. And yeah, that mic will pick it up, but you know, that's basically picking up the low end of this floor tom. And I've got another one. These are Electro Voice PL33 mics, which I really like. I mean, they're not super expensive mics. I picked up two sets of Electro Voice mics. These are the PL35s, the cool angled mics that I use for the toms, and it's perfect, that angle for the snare. So I don't have to have a stand up above and have it pointing down. I can just bring it right over the top, just kind of curl it around there. And I've got them on, just clip right on all those toms. So it's really nice. Again, there's my hi-hat, regular position for a hi-hat. It's just, you know, the cable hat. At least the pedal's in a regular position. And, you know, there's the center hi-hat. No, there is no lag on this. And then I'm just using a single pedal. I do have a double pedal, but I don't really need to do doubles with this thing. I mean, anything I need to do, I can do with my right foot, you know. I'm doing literal heel-to-toe doubles on this, by the way, where my heel is hitting the footboard. Not the proper heel-to-toes that everybody else does. I'm not doing it that way. This is the way I learned on an old Camco pedal. I learned on a Camco strap pedal, and I'm going to be getting a DW5000 pedal with a Camco footboard. I'd done that before, nickel-plated the footboard. Absolutely the quickest little strap pedal I've ever owned. But I'll talk about tuning on this thing as well. So I had mentioned in another video that I do use the TuneBot app to get my drum tunings from. Sometimes I'll, you know, custom tailor those and change it up a little bit, but I really like the settings they recommend. You just, you know, select all the toms that you use on your kit, and it'll give you useful intervals. You can select how much resonance you want, top head higher, bottom head higher, single head. It's really a useful tool. Makes for repeatability and consistency, and they just sound absolutely fantastic together. I always know how they're going to sound. Now, for rehearsal, I'm just using the 12-inch tom and a 16-inch floor tom with the 20-inch bass drum and this snare. So I've got a little 4-piece at our band rehearsals, and I tune these differently. This is going to be a D3. This is going to be a D2. So that's, you know, from putting that into TuneBot. Tell them I've got a 12 and a 16. I want just a moderate amount of sustain on those, and that's what it gives me back, and they sound great together. But since I brought it home, plugged these drums back in after rehearsal, I've tuned them back to the interval for the 5 drums. And here's how they sound together, and then, you know, the two next to each other split apart, so you can kind of hear how nicely these are. Snares off, Jim. They sound magnificent. These Evans UV2 heads are just my favorite of all time for all around. I know if I was playing harder rock, and I have played harder rock, you know, maybe using some EC2s on the tops, or some clear Remos or black dots or pinstripes. There's a whole host of heads I've used over the years, but for all around, you know, where I'm going to play an outdoor gig and then the next week I'm playing inside with maybe a different configuration, I'm going to leave these heads on. I play classic rock with the band I'm in right now, and I couldn't ask for more out of drum heads. These things are absolutely wonderful, very durable. I've had these a while, and there's no dents in these. It's very, you can see the wear lightly. I can probably clean that off. They look wonderful, and I use an Aquarian reverse dot on this reverse white dot, but I change this out all the time. I'm always trying different snare heads. My secondary snare, let me show you that one. This is also a pearl. This is a Pearl 5.5 Session Studio Select. So this is birch and mahogany. Just a beautiful, beautiful drum. I've got a Remo reverse white dot controlled sound head on this one. So very similar to this Aquarian in characteristics and in durability and sound. These two, I got them tuned fairly close together. So if I need to swap it out, it's not a one-on-one, but Soundman really doesn't have to change anything on that if I blow out a bottom head, because I've had that happen. I've blown out a bottom head in rehearsal, thankfully not live, but boy, that makes a sound you'll never forget. Very unmistakable. So yeah, that's the current setup. I'm sticking with it at least for a little while, but let me show you the bass drum now, what's inside of that. So by the way, when I tune my bass drum, I'm just pushing down on the hoop. I used to tune it till finger tight and then tune the wrinkles out of it and then back them off a little bit. This is kind of the same thing here. Not much difference, but I just don't need a key. Same for the front head on this. And of course, why remove the entire thing? Just be careful not to scratch the hoop too bad when you do this, but you don't need to take these all the way off. Just enough where you can lift these up, pull that off. So here's the inside. All right, so here's what's going on inside that little 18-inch bass drum. Boy, does that smell good. I've got modified Evans EMAD pad. Basically means I just cut it and it's resting up against that front head. I still have resonance on it. It just muffles it from ringing too much. And then I've got the Shure Beta 91A boundary mic just on its own little hammock there, the shoe flats suspension mount, and then there's a Sennheiser E902 on the Kelly shoe shock mount. Now, setting this down flat, you can see that the angle of the Sennheiser is pointed just above, well, not just above, it's pointed above the where the beater hits. So I'm getting the impact, but not directly, kind of indirectly, but still picking up the tone of the drum. While that lower mic, we're using that on the board, separate channel, to get more of the low end, to get any woof that this drum has. And there are the inputs. Kelly has these cool 18-inch pigtails that, I've got. These are just grommets. I mean, the Pearl tom mounts are wonderful. So are the Yamahas. The hole's just big enough for these grommets I found at the hardware store at Menards, and I just kind of jammed the XLRs in there, and those aren't going anywhere. So again, that's dynamic mic, the Sennheiser. This is the Shure condenser mic. They each got their own pigtails. Those are not touching the front head, so no worries about rattle, but it's kind of a tight fit in here, but this works really well live. And you can see the two drum covers I did of Aerosmith Adam's Apple and the Cult Love Removal Machine, and I've got both of those in play on that. And I'll tell you what, coming through our PA system, this is a dynamite drum. For classic rock, I mean, I'm looking for a blues side gig right now, or something, something like that, and this is going to be perfect. I'm going to use a little 4-piece kit, and boy, I really like this. But I might go back to the 20 for some outside gigs. I might not, but this is my main drum for now. It fits really well underneath that 12-inch. And you can see the height of the 12 inches. It's almost like it was when I had the bass drum over to the right. I mean, there's, it's ergonomic still. You know, I've just got the hi-hat in the middle here, but it's easy to play, and that 14-inch floor tom is right over here. You know, there's a little bit of a gap, but not too far off from when I had the left-footed pedal with that bass drum to the left. So the cat approves of it. Starla likes it until I start playing them. But she likes laying on my rug, so I have to vacuum that every time before a gig. So that's what it is. Just want to share the setup. Let me know your thoughts. Share your comments. Be cool. You know, any questions I'm happy to answer as I can. But thanks to the Drums and Drummers group on Facebook, you people are just wonderful. So hopefully a few of you will trickle over here. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. And if you want to be notified of future videos, click that bell icon. Thanks very much. What you doing?